My name is Giovanni, and let me start by asking you a question. If you were to define what is design in the context of software development, how would you describe it? There are probably many terms that are coming up in your mind right now, such as design process, design pattern, design documents, or even design standards. But while we can agree that all of these and many others fall under the umbrella of what we normally define as design, I want you to take them and put them away. Instead, let's focus on a different question. What is design when developers are discussing it? To explain to you what I mean, let's look at an example. This is a snippet of a discussion between developers of the Node.js repository, in which they're discussing the pro and con of allowing users to use patch as an option. Is this design? In my opinion, it is, because developers will make a decision, and the decision will affect the design of the particular piece of code that probably will affect the design of other pieces of code in the project. Developers are constantly making decisions like this, either consciously or unconsciously. And unfortunately, often this information is lost due to the huge volume of messages sent back and forth between them on a daily basis. So the question is, can we recover this design and use it to help developers? The first step in doing so is to be able to localize this information. So let's take a look at a pull request again, for example. Pull request proposes some changes and then is often followed by a list of comments that are discussing the benefits and negatives of making these changes. Now, while all those comments are relevant to the changes being proposed, not all of them are relevant to the design of it. In fact, in this specific case, only 3 of them were design related. So the question is, how can we decide which ones are design and which ones are not? We took 2 different approaches. The first one was a manual approach, and the second one built on top of the first one and was an automated approach. Let's start with the manual one. We selected 3 projects from GitHub, the Node.js, the Ruby on Rails, and the Rust project, and we extracted 34 pull requests out of this. We then further extracted nearly 11,000 paragraphs, and 2 of our authors manually labeled all of them to either contain design information or not. They resulted in nearly 2,400 paragraphs with design information and nearly 8,500 without. I want to emphasize the result because this means that nearly 24% of the paragraphs we analyzed did contain design information, indicating that these discussions are a really rich source of information. Now, the next step was to take this large labeled set and use it as a base to build our automated process. We did so by creating 19 features out of the paragraphs that we fed to 4 classifiers, and then we ran 2 evaluations. A cross evaluation using the 3 projects that we used in the labeling, and a gold standard evaluation in which we selected 5 additional projects. We extracted paragraphs out of these and asked some expert to judge if they were containing design information or not. Then we tried the classifier against it. Both evaluations resulted in a fairly high AOC, 0.85 in case of the cross evaluation and 0.79 in the gold standard. Based on this result, we can confidently claim that our classifiers are able to detect which paragraph in a discussion contains design information. Even more, we can generalize this approach to any kind of project, as our gold standard evaluation showed that the results are not extremely affected by using projects that the classifier was not timed on. The last step in this work is to use this information we recovered to actually provide some help to developers. We plan to do so by developing some tools, which goal is to provide information back to the developers in an easy and accessible way. As an example of this, let's consider a mockup. In this case, our tool would have a search bar where the user can search for some code elements of the project, and the tool will return a set of cards where each card contains the date that the information was recovered, which pull request it belonged to, who wrote it, and a summary of what the information is, including also information on why it's relevant to the search that the developer is doing. So to summarize our project, We started by defining what design is within the discussions that developers are having, and then we move forward trying to localize where this discussion is in these discussions at the paragraph level. Particularly, we both did a manual labeling of those paragraphs, and then we built classifiers that can be generalized to any project. Our goal in the future is to take this result and build tools that are hopefully going to be helpful for developers to have an easy access to this information that would be otherwise really hard to recover. Thank you.